Welcome, 8th graders. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for this explainer on Week 13's topic. Today, we're exploring a truly fascinating intersection. We're going to look at how a fundamental principle of physical science connects directly and profoundly to our moral foundation. It's literally a journey from the physics lab straight to the core of how we live our lives. So let's get right into it. Think about this for a quick second. You're cruising along in a car, maybe just looking out the window, and suddenly the driver slams on the brakes. What actually happens to you? Well, you fly forward, right? Your body wants to keep moving even though the vehicle is coming to a dead stop. Why on earth does that happen? Okay, let's dive into this, because the answer unlocks one of the most absolutely crucial rules governing everything around us. Section 1. Understanding Newton's first law. This specific scientific law is the key, the absolute foundation to understanding stability and motion in our everyday lives. If you want to know why things move or why they stay perfectly still, this is where the magic happens. It's known as inertia. Now, the formal definition states that an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. That unbalanced force is a real game changer. It's the friction of the road, the gravity pulling you down, or just the physical push from your hand. Without it, well, things just stubbornly keep doing exactly what they're already doing. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it breaks down the two halves of this law. On one side, we've got objects at rest. Think of a massive, heavy bowling ball just sitting there on the floor. It has zero desire to move. It's going to stay completely still until you apply a force, until you actually pick it up and roll it. Then, on the flip side, we have objects in motion. If you are floating out in deep space, where there's no air resistance or friction to slow things down, an object you throw would just keep moving at a constant speed indefinitely, forever. It just naturally resists any change to its state. So you might be wondering, why does knowing all this matter outside of a science classroom? Well, without understanding inertia, we literally couldn't predict how objects react to forces like friction or gravity. And that's exactly why engineers and athletes rely on it every single day. Engineers know your body will keep moving forward when a car stops, so they invent crucial safety features like seat belts and better brakes. Athletes use it to create winning sports strategies. Like a soccer player knows they've got to keep applying an unbalanced force, essentially kicking the ball, to maintain its speed against the friction of the grass. And scientists, they absolutely depend on it for planning complex space missions. Section 2, Inertia in Action. Okay, so we've seen the theory. Now let's look at some tangible, real-world proof of inertia happening right in front of our eyes. I've got 3 examples here that perfectly capture the core theme of resistance to change. First up, the classic tablecloth trick. You've probably seen this. If you pull a tablecloth quickly enough, the dishes stay right in place. Why? Because their inertia resists the sudden change. They just want to remain at rest. Second, think about a roller coaster. When the ride suddenly stops at the end, the passengers keep moving forward, which is exactly why those heavy shoulder restraints are so necessary. And third, spacecraft drift. A satellite in orbit will just keep moving forward at blistering speeds until acted on by another force. The common thread tying all of these together is that physical matter stubbornly resists changing its current state. Section 3, Spiritual Steadfastness. 1 Corinthians 15:58 tells us, "Be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord." And this brilliantly illustrates how we bridge physical science to our biblical worldview. Just like inertia keeps physical objects locked in their state, God calls us to remain steady in our faith and resist negative forces. In the physical world, an object at rest needs an unbalanced force to move it, right? Well, in our spiritual lives, we're called to have spiritual inertia, to be steadfast and completely immovable in our faith, resisting those negative, unbalanced forces of the world that try to push us off course. We are called to hold our ground. Section 4. Education powered by morality. This brings us to the ultimate philosophy of the Heroesmartacademy Godly Learners series, which is the real why behind this entire lesson today. So the crucial point is this, contrast. On one hand, we have education without morality. Honestly, what is the point of being incredibly smart and supposedly educated if you continue to make bad choices that end up hurting yourself and others? Intelligence without a moral compass is like a fast-moving car with no brakes. It's incredibly dangerous. But on the other side, we have the spiritual mind. Romans 8:6-7 promises true peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. When we intertwine our education with biblical morality, we don't just become smart, we become wise, steady, and truly at peace. Section 5. Test your knowledge. All right, we have covered a ton of incredible ground today, from the physics of motion all the way to the steadfastness of our faith. Now I want to challenge you to apply exactly what you've learned. Number 1, define inertia in your own words. Don't just regurgitate the textbook definition, really think about what it means to resist change. Number 2, give one example of inertia in sports. Remember our soccer ball example from earlier, but definitely see if you can think of your own. Number 3, what causes a moving object to stop? Hint, think about those unbalanced forces we talked about. And number 4, why do cars need seatbelts according to Newton's first law? Think back to the roller coaster and the car stopping suddenly.
And finally, for your 5th homework question, I want to leave you with a deeply provocative thought. Describe a time when you experienced inertia. I want you to think about this both physically and spiritually. When was the time your physical body resisted a change in motion? And, honestly, equally important, how can you practice being steadfast and immovable in your own life this week? Keep that question with you, reflect on it, and I absolutely can't wait to explore more with you in our next explainer.